Hey everybody, it is John Carlos here with another episode of Movies Worth Talking About, and I am joined by the spooky
Eddie.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. It is Halloween season. Halloween is almost upon us.
Yes, it is.
And in real life, I love lists. Love talking lists. Eddie, maybe one besides laughing at me. You're not as hardcore about lists as I am, but I thought
Uh,
it'd be fun just to have a discussion and also to recommend to anybody out there who is curious about watching Halloween movies or things to watch this season, to discuss our favorite Halloween movies.
right.
Specifically, not just, I mean, we'll get to it, but like I personally, I'm a big fan of the idea of like how Christmas time, there's like a fuck ton of Christmas movies that specifically feature the holiday of Christmas in their narrative or part of their story. Um, and how there don't seem to be as many Halloween ones, but I think it's an important holiday. And here are my 10 favorite, and in theory, your 10 favorite
Uh-huh.
Halloween for the holiday Halloween movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's unpack this because
Yes.
when you were pitching this idea to me, I felt that there was first off you introduced yes, there are some Halloween movies, but then you started to discuss what actually constitutes a Halloween movie, and actually rather what doesn't constitute a Halloween movie. Or like, I mean, of course, like yeah, sure, there are movies you can watch like at Halloween, but but just because they take place on Halloween, it's like that doesn't make it a Halloween movie. And I'm like, all right, I guess I agree, sure, okay, if that's where we're going. And then like in the next breath you said, but then but like then there's well, you watch a movie and you watch it every Halloween, but it doesn't take place on Halloween, so it's not a Halloween movie. So I'm like, wait, so what's the criteria that I'm? So I just
I
kind
don't
of
even recall saying that last sentence.
I remember hearing it, and
Oh, well, I mean,
remember
for example, yes, probably every Halloween I will watch Scream. That doesn't
right,
make Scream a Halloween movie. I just like
right,
watching it at Halloween time.
right. But so I was just kind of like, well, I mean, so I was just kind of like, well, you know what? I tried to comprise a list of things that kind of let all the criteria that like that I watch every Halloween and that also have Halloween in them. The thing is, there are a few things that I did not include in my list, even though I do watch them every Halloween, because it just felt a little basic for me. Because I'm like, there are some obvious choices that I'm going to avoid, and I'm going to go instead with some things that are actually crucial for me at Halloween that don't necessarily take place on Halloween. That's
That is
that I want to give a caveat.
interesting. So thank you for the caveat. So I'm like, fuck you, that doesn't take place at Halloween.
Exactly, totally.
But yeah, if you
But
can
most of
justify
mine
it.
do. Most of mine do take place on Halloween.
I do include some basics because, damn it, there are some great basics for
There
Halloween.
are, sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I've also personally, you don't have to, but I ranked them, so I'll be going in a ranking. But
I can't.
they're all fucking winners, dude. But
they made the list.
I will catch everyone up very quickly into what I was telling Eddie before, which was I have, okay, much like how, for example, Die Hard, is it or isn't it a Christmas movie? That sort of thing. There are Christmas movies that are unequivocally Christmas movies, right? And then Die Hard is debatable.
Right.
So there are movies, for example, Halloween movie, Trick or Treat, duh. But then there's this next tier of movies that, like Ginger Snaps or Donnie Darko, they occur during Halloween time
Mm-hmm.
and feature some scenes at like a Halloween party or something, but are they really like Halloweeny? Maybe, maybe not. It's debatable. And then there's movies like the next tier down, which is like The Predator or Texas Chainsaw 3D, which make the effort to say we take place at Halloween and then barely
Right.
do a goddamn thing with it. You maybe have one scene of like a trick-or-treater and you're like, huh?
And this is what you said to me. So I'm just kind of like, okay, so there are movies that have Halloween in them that aren't Halloween movies. So I should avoid those.
No,
But then there
but
are
if
also
they,
movies that don't take place on Halloween, but people watch them at Halloween, but I should avoid those too. And it's like, oh, fuck. So I just made my list.
you just made your list. Yes, you gave me the heads up that you might have bungled the assignment. Got it. Okay.
Oh my God. The
I mean,
patriarchy.
no, but here's the thing is, just for example, if you wanted to put The Predator on there as a movie that takes place at Halloween but doesn't really count, that's fine. That's you explaining to me why you love that one scene in The Predator where the little boy trick or treats. Like,
Dear God.
you
See,
know?
this is, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to be interested in like, because also I wanted the list to be fun. And the more I tried to qualify my choices, the less fun it got. So I was just kind of like,
Fuck you and
well,
your
what?
qualifications.
I'm just going to bring up things that like really, this is my list. These are movies that, for better or worse, are Halloween for me. So
And
it makes
these,
it
okay.
personal, and it doesn't make it just like some basic bitch list for me.
And these are
For me.
my Halloween movies.
Yeah.
And they all have to do with Halloween. So let's just dive right on into it, man.
And I didn't rank mine, so
That's
if one of yours is mine, I'll just jump right on.
Sure. Let me tell you my number 10.
Okay.
The Guest.
Okay.
If anyone out there hasn't seen The Guest, what's fun about this is, to me, it's in that second category where it takes place at Halloween time.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't a horror movie. It isn't spooky or have like any macabre things. It's not like Casper or anything. It is an action movie and it is a thriller. But it does a good job of making use of the town's setting of celebrating Halloween.
Yeah.
The climax takes place in a very Halloween-y setting. It's almost like Die Hard at Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
The Guest is a very, very fun thriller to watch at Halloween time. It scratches a Halloween itch. And it's from horror directors, so it's still got like a kind of zest to it.
I can love that I can watch you qualify in real time. This is why it makes the list. This is why, because it fits the criteria, and because I like it was okay, cool.
This is how my fucking brain works. And you know this.
In case anyone was wondering.
But
awesome,
but
cool.
It's the only movie on this list that's in what I consider the second bracket. Everything else is an unequivocally Halloween-y first bracket movie.
Cool. The first one I'm gonna name is not a horror movie either, but it has a Halloween scene in it, and but it's also largely, I don't know, it's another big component for me. This is like where like my list comes from. A huge component of Halloween for me is nostalgia, and it kind of beyond nostalgia, like time travel. I love watching things that transport me back to a time, because honestly, shall we say, like the last, I don't know, few years, let's just put it that way, I've done things that are fun. I've had, fun experiences celebrating Halloween and everything like that. I've had them with you. I've had them with, other friends. I've even had them with my family and stuff like that. But there's something that like an itch that needs to be scratched, that like can only be satisfied by these movies on my list. That brings me back to like that time when I was a kid, when what I was going to be, my costume for Halloween was like a major component of my year. It was an identity kind of thing. It was, and also just it was a time of year. We used to have weather. It used to get cold in Los Angeles, and you used to have to wear a jacket and go out in the cold and trick or treat and like have a flashlight and then have your parents check your candy. And I had the plastic pumpkin that I'd put it, all that stuff. It needs to bring that back. And also I didn't put any just spoiler, I didn't put any Halloween Michael Myers movies on my list either, because I feel like that's cheating. No, the first one that I put, because I watched it when I was entirely too young, is my first ever exposure to Jim Carrey, and that's Once Bitten.
Once Bitten.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say E.T., because I'm thinking nostalgia 80s features Halloween.
I did think about E.T., but I don't watch it anymore.
But Once Bitten is
I revisited it like a week ago after having not seen it in a few years, and I realized I still have it memorized. I literally can like hum the score alongside it. Like the opening credits opened and I was just going first, and like one of my first exposure, I mean, there were so many jokes that went over my head that I get now. I came out of the closet years ago, and
Eddie, do you know how many fucking blatantly gay characters existed in the 80s that I just went,
Yeah,
oh, he's funny.
exactly. He's fun.
He's
He
fun.
enjoys life. Like, he
Yeah.
loves life. But
He dresses
also,
loud and has energy. Isn't he just a hoot?
yeah, and I completely underestimated Lauren Hutton's influence as, a vamp and as like a screen siren for me, because I was like, holy shit, she was a huge influence on me. Like, I thought that's what sexy was. It was a deep voice and talking slow and like
Yeah.
and wearing clothing that exposes your assets. And I don't know, I just I literally have to this day the entire script memorized. And I love a good dance off sequence.
It's got a great one.
Oh
my God.
one of the best ever. So
And
watching it, yeah, go ahead.
It's a Halloween qualifier, but the whole energy to that movie, the whole vibe to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. But that's the thing, because it straddles like the scary, but also the fun, and totally, like, as a kid, adored it, loved it, memorized it. As an adult, I watch it, and granted, some jokes didn't age quite well, but I can watch it. Yeah, I'm not going to tell any of the jokes,
But we know.
but some of them made me laugh, like howl with laughter. Because sometimes I don't know, sometimes, like, a teenage boy's homophobia is funny sometimes. As long as it doesn't manifest in hatred or violence, sure, show me a movie with a young teen boy working it out. Like, I'll take that. But so yeah, it was I would never go like, everybody watch this, but I will watch it. I could watch it every year, and yeah, so that's my first one that I'm going to say.
Dude,
there you go.
I revisited it last year.
Yeah.
For the first time since I was like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
So that was a fucking blast from the past, man.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
It is great. That's a good 80s revisit. There's a few dated, but for the most part, it's pretty good. And I love how horny
Yeah,
it is.
no, totally. No, yeah. It's got that angle of like just the teenage boys who just have to lose their virginity.
Right. My girlfriend won't fuck me, so like it's totally cool. I go try to get laid by someone else. Like, I'm not a cheater. And like, how do we solve the finale of this movie? Well, if you fuck me, then like, okay, then like, problem solved.
Right.
So, like,
I was laughing at that too. There's so many campy jokes toward the end where I'm just going like, this is so much fun.
That's a pretty good example of like a not shitty, horny 80s movie.
Yeah, I think so. For the most part, totally. Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Number 9, or the 9th movie, whatever. I'm still going to number them just so I can keep track. The 9th movie is, for me, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad.
Oh, I have that on my list too. Okay.
Awesome. Do you want to discuss that when we get to yours?
I'm not ranking it, so yeah, we can talk about it. We'll both talk about it right now. Yeah.
Okay, then we'll skip yours. Yeah. First of all, obviously, sorry, Mr. Toad, but when it comes to Halloween, your first half isn't really the important part.
Right. It's true.
It's the second half, which, God bless it, the sweet dulcet tones of Bing Crosby. I mean, even as a kid, though, one of the things I was only familiar as a child with the idea of Halloween in my time in the 80s. Mm-hmm. To see even in animated form, like this old village, having a party on Halloween, and the eve of Halloween, and the writer comes at night, and all that shit. Yeah. It's a fucking. I watch it almost every year. I kind of have to, especially because the second half's only 45 minutes long.
Oh yeah, no. Well, okay. Because also goes back to childhood, but I didn't even see the entire thing when I was a kid. There used to be these specials, because that was another question I had for John Carlos. Like, do they all have to be movies, or can we put specials in too? And he was just like, no, but now that you said special, I'm like, okay, so I have no specials, okay.
Theatrical feature-length films, everybody.
Yes, theatrical feature-length film. I'm like, okay, this qualifies, even though my first exposure to it was a special that I will mention. They used to do in the 80s DTV. So they had this DTV Halloween special where they had an actor play like the slave in the Magic Mirror, and they do all of these like kind of montages of old Disney cartoons, a lot of silly symphonies and stuff like that, to, at the time, current pop music. But every now and then they'll do like a little kind of like edited version of either a full-length feature or usually a full-length feature, but they'll just like cut it down, just shave it down, get to the essence. That's my first exposure to Legends of Sleepy Hollow, was just him on the horse getting scared of the tree, laughing, and then the headless horseman laughing, and then the whole thing with him being chased until the pumpkin being thrown through the bridge. That was enough. Just the fuck me up, man. And it's still it gets something in me. It gets like a ooh, like that fun creepy thing, you know, like
Yes.
that, like I'm getting scared and I like it and I'm having fun, and I don't think it ever really kind of crossed that kid boundary. Like there were a lot of movies I watched as a kid where the first exposure to it, I was like, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. I
Right.
shouldn't be watching this. I need an adult. This was not one of them, but
This walks up to
yeah.
the line, but never crosses it.
Yeah.
Because I feel safe. I felt safe as a kid because
Yeah.
it was animated and it was kind of fun, and like the horse is scared too, but also like he flops off the horse at one point, you know, and he's on the, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like I genuinely felt not actually scared, but like I think I'm a little scared by this, if this is real, and but I feel like I'm in good hands. And when I watch it now, I still recall that feeling.
Yeah.
It's like proto horror before you get to horror.
Totally. And for that
And that
reason,
chase,
I'm
that
yeah,
chase is so well done.
it is. I mean, that I still to this day have not read Washington Irving's Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Me neither.
But it's odd because I feel almost like I'm kind of scared too, because I'm worried that it might not be as good as the cartoon. Does that make sense?
Yes, it totally
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. It'd be like reading The Raven and going, "Ooh, scary."
Although,
But no, I love Edgar Allan Poe. No disrespect to him or to Washington Irving, but no, that cartoon again, nostalgia. You know, like my and it you bring it up to date. It's a pleasure to sit through as an
right?
adult. It really is. I adore it.
That
Absolutely adore it.
yeah, fucking the big the headless horseman song.
Yeah.
Big cross. The
Yeah.
Halloween classic banger, man.
Yeah. Totally.
What's your ninth?
That's my ninth.
Oh, I thought it was just somewhere else on the list. They're both at 9. That's right.
No, well, I mean, I'm not ranking them, so that's
Oh, I
my
know. Okay,
yeah.
yeah, I know. But in
So
the
that'll be
order,
my ninth. Let
the
that be
order
my
in
ninth.
which you're speaking them. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That's my ninth. It made the list.
I don't think I've ever talked about this movie, so I don't even know if you've seen my number 8, Space Invaders.
No.
Well, my 8th is Space Invaders.
Okay.
Which has, if for those of you out there who haven't seen it or don't know of it,
Uh-huh.
the premise, just like, how do you not want to go see this after I tell you?
Okay.
Small town, aliens in their UFO hovering above Earth.
Uh-huh.
Small town broadcasts for nostalgia the Orson Welles War of the Worlds
Oh
on radio.
no.
Aliens hear it, just like the people who first heard it think it's real, and they come to Earth to participate in the invasion.
Yeah.
And since they're little green men and they land on Halloween, they're trying to take over the Earth. Everyone else thinks they're trick-or-treaters.
That's cute.
And it's
That's
all
really cute.
clashing fish out of water stuff.
Mhm.
And then they all are very distinct. Like one is like very German,
Oh.
and one of them wears fucking aviators and sounds like Jack Nicholson. And it's fucking amazing.
When was this released?
I want to say like 89, 90, or 91.
Okay.
Because it's got the girl from Jurassic Park in it, maybe like a year or two before Jurassic Park.
Oh, okay. Lex.
Yeah. But yeah,
Right.
there's just an alien who sounds like this man, and he's the cool one who doesn't care what all the other guys, you're all a bunch of idiots. Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's fucking a really good time. And the story goes in some really zany places.
That's cute. That's really fun. I've never heard of it before. Yeah, I'll have to look it up.
It's produced by Touchstone. It's like a not quite Disney, but Disney movie.
Do you know if it's streaming on Disney Plus or anything?
I don't know. I
Okay,
have it
I'll
on
look for
DVD.
it.
I don't think it ever made its way to Blue, or maybe it did go to Blu-ray. I think it did.
Okay, well, I'll look for it now. That sounds like fun. Okay, my number three uh is, I don't rank them, but so I don't know how I
We're
could. I
just
love,
counting them off, though. We're counting off
yeah, okay,
the
okay.
eighth.
So the third one we're going to discuss on my list is um also not scary, also huge nostalgia. And I just watched it yesterday. Gives me my heart just, it's called The Worst Witch. And there are a few versions. There's like, I think there's like a Netflix version and like a BBC version or whatever. I don't know that shit. Mine is the OG, like I think it was like a, like back in like 1989, maybe 88, like Fairuza Balk, little girl, Diana Rigg as a school mistress,
Ooh.
Charlotte Ray, Mrs. Garrett from Facts of Life as the full like head of the school, and I think, oh, and Tim Curry as this like majestic wizard person who comes to see the young witches, and sings one of the worst. It's got songs in it. It's a musical. I think it was written by the same guys who wrote Annie, so it's got kind of like, when it's theatrical, it's really bouncy and Annie-like, but when it's not, it's trying to be 80s and cool, and it's not. Tim Curry's song is trying to be like a pop song, and it's just, anything can happen at Halloween. Your dog could turn into a cat, and every rhyme that follows is like bat, rat, sat, like that. It's the most basic lyric writing, but and Fairuza Balk is amazing. And of course, everybody's amazing. And it was like the Harry Potter before Harry Potter. She's going to a boarding school to learn to be a witch. It's all girls, and they ride their brooms, and she's bad at it. She can't do spells, but then, spoiler, folks, she saves the school. So, because Charlotte Ray has an evil twin sister who used to own the school, and they used to sing a different school song, and she sings it, and it's terrible. And it's just the kitschest. Like, the special effects are awful. You can tell it's like just like Video Pro, like like basic bare bones, like in like some studio, like I don't know, some lower end of London. I don't know England. I can't speak to that, but you can tell not a lot of money. Not a lot of money. Like, it probably went to the cast, and maybe not even then. They all probably just wanted to be in a kids thing. So good, and has the greatest opening song that they also close with, sung by some girl, supposed to be Fairuza Balk's voice, but it's just like, growing up isn't easy. I wish the time would hurry by. Will I ever learn to fly? Growing up isn't easy. Doesn't anyone know why? With like theatrical vibrato and everything. I love it. So
I could tell.
yeah, that's my, yeah. It's a good movie. People who know it know what I'm talking about.
I bet. That is a movie. I like that both of our eighth movies, because it was your eighth. I love that both of our eighth movies, we haven't seen the others.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've always heard the title my whole life, and Lord knows every fucking year on my Facebook feed, because I'm now in my 40s and we're all still on Facebook, because that's where 40-year-olds go now. I always see clips of that Tim Curry song every year. That's always like the viral thing.
Yeah. It's terrible.
That's all I know of it. That's all I know of it is that song.
Every heart will shudder. And he takes a little heart and makes it shudder. Made out of like fabric. It's like a little heart puppet that he makes go like this. On tonight, the spookiest tonight.
I will watch this.
Scariest tonight. The most wonderful night. He does this. Oh, the year. And then, yeah, you've seen it.
I have.
Yeah.
I've seen him dance.
It's just terrible. I can't. It's not Halloween if I haven't seen that movie.
Aw.
Yeah. Ever since I was a kid.
It's like the Saw franchise. If it's Halloween, it must be the worst witch.
Yeah. What's next for you?
I will. You know what? But per you, no one's ever sold me on it before until now. So I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it.
Oh, sweet. Okay, it's on YouTube. You can totally find it on YouTube.
Awesome.
Yeah.
My number 7. I adore this movie, Monster House.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's just, I mean, let me take you back in time
Yes.
to when this movie was coming out,
Yeah.
and I had no interest in it whatsoever.
Oh.
Didn't care, didn't care, didn't care. And then back when Ain't It Cool News was a thing, back when
Uh-huh.
Ain't It Cool News mattered, and obviously back before we knew about Harry Knowles. Uh,
Sure.
I remember, I think it was Fantastic Fest, because they used to host so many different festivals in Austin through Ain't It Cool News. But it was the opening of one of their festivals, and a lot of people went, "Huh?" And they're like, "Trust us, when you see it, you'll understand why we put it as the opening of our festival."
Mm.
Only based on that kind of buzz, I'm like, you know what? I'll just go check it out. But it opened with the Amblin logo, and I'm like,
Hmm.
we hadn't seen the Amblin logo in a long time.
Yeah.
And this movie captures a spirit of not necessarily the 80s, but of like when you made movies about like kids and like there's no parents to help you and you have to solve the mystery or the fight the monster. Um, and it's funny because I remember about 2 or 3 years later, they made such a big deal. J.J. Abrams was like, well, Super 8 is going to be like the return of like the Amblin energy. And I'm like,
Mm.
bitch, Monster House already did the fucking Amblin energy and brought it back. Um, Fun story, set at Halloween. If you don't know, it's very witty. This is the thing I liked about it. It's a kids movie, but it's written by Dan Harmon. Uh,
Mm.
of course, there's another rewrite after him that drastically changes the third act, so it kind of
Oh,
washed his hands of Monster House. But
sure.
there's still so much wit in there. The characters are compelling. I really kind of dig the animation style, but it's also a sweet story about like these two friends and like the one boy is like trick or treats. And he's like, nah, I think I'm getting a little too old for that. Like, I don't want to do that. And then, spoiler alert, by the end of the movie, after all of this shit, he's like, let's go trick or treating. And I'm like, fuck yeah, Halloween like wins again. Like, it's because
Oh,
aside from that, it just happens to take place at Halloween and it's, them fighting a giant monster house. But
yeah,
that anchor of Halloween season and oh my God, we have to take this. If all these trick or treaters come to this house, it's going to eat them all, blah, 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 blah. But it's
sure.
so clever. There's such heart and such wit. The voice
Hmm.
actors are fantastic. You got Steve Buscemi and Jason Lee and like John Heater. It's such a good time, especially if you've never
Oh,
seen it and you're nostalgic for that sort of thing. Go check out Monster House.
fun. Yeah, I've seen parts of it. I think I saw it, I think it was on in a break room while I was in and out of it's like doing rounds like at work. And I remember I got to see pockets of it. And what I saw, I remember I was responding really, really like thumbs up to. And then it just left my memory. But yeah,
So
I gotta rewatch that one. I gotta find out if it's streaming somewhere.
sprinkled
It'd be
throughout,
fun.
like just the wit and all these little beats. It's really funny.
Yeah.
More than
Okay.
anything, I'll just tell you, it's really funny.
Nice. Um, my number, whatever the fuck,
7.
is not funny at all, and it does not take place on Halloween, but became a Halloween staple as a franchise every year. So there's that. But I have to watch it because it scares me. And it's one of the only kind of like non-nostalgic movies I have, but it's just because it chills the fuck out of me. And every now and then for Halloween, you have to watch something that legitimately scares you. And the first we've done the franchise actually on this pod. The first Paranormal Activity legitimately scares me. And uh also, I don't know, I guess it takes place like, during cold weather because at night she's in a chair and it's cold. So I'm not going to qualify it. I don't care. But no, it's just, it literally, watching it is kind of like this wretched, joyless experience in the best way a horror movie can be. And it is like, I mean, it satisfies an appetite for me in the horror, like it's scaring me, but it's probably the least joyful entry on my list, probably. But it's just, I don't know, it's sometimes you just have to watch something that scares you in the month of October in preparation for Halloween. And I don't let ever since it's been out, I don't let Halloween go by without me seeing the movie every year. So it's in me.
I did not know that that's how hardcore you were about it every Halloween.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's funny that you're talking about qualifier, because in a weird way, technically, Paranormal Activity: The Ghost Dimension is a Christmas movie. I'm not saying it's a good movie. It's a Christmas movie.
It's not worth mentioning.
And yet, I mentioned it.
What's next on your list?
Moving on to the 6th film on my list.
No.
Call me basic, but fuck you. Like, my list includes some basics, because Halloween, some of these are staples. Hocus Pocus. How do you not?
I agree.
How do you know? It's actually a weird, my little journey with that is I saw it in theaters when it came out.
Yeah.
I liked it. Life went on for many, many years. I never saw it again. And then a few years before the nostalgia train for it really picked up, and it's now just like merched like crazy, I remember liking it and like watched it again. I'm like, holy shit, this movie's a great Halloween time. It's, everyone's seen it, everybody knows, but my just 2 cents is the spirit of it.
Yeah.
Energy of it. Also, I have a thing, there's a lot of, especially now, there's a lot of family films that have, I consider a majority of them to be overscored.
Yeah.
When I think of that, I think of like Night at the Museum and like Ben Stiller running, and it's just like, and you're like, oh, it's supposed to feel like big and wacky. And the score is just like fucking hitting you over the head and shit. But this one, it's scored like a family film, but there's still fun to it. There's still zest. It captures the right kind of energy. It's not as big as things have gotten, but it's the right kind of family film scoring. It really does kind of pull you into the mood in all the best ways. It's like the perfect example of how to score a big, broad family adventure type thing. And I really, between the sets and like just the Sanderson sisters' house museum, the graveyard, them doing practical shit with them on brooms. Such a fucking good time.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't make my list, but it's definitely something I watch every year.
It has become something I watch every year.
Yeah, no, I saw it in the theater, and I have watched it every year since then. But I remember, yeah, in the 90s, being a kid, I watched it with my sister. It's largely a brother-sister movie too, so it has that. So we were both. She loves to lay hypotheticals on me anytime a brother is mistreating a sister, or anytime a sister is, being a bad sister. She'll just be like, "I would never do that to you." I'm like, "Yeah, you would." Okay, buddy. But and you better never do anything. I wouldn't. I know you better. I know that it would be the end if I did that. You wouldn't speak to me anymore. But like, yeah, so we appreciate it for that reason. Also, I remember in recent years, I've heard a lot of people kind of get up in arms about the I don't even know how to put it. Like just the I guess the more adult moments.
The V word?
The V word.
All the virgin
and about
talk.
like and making light of it and everything like that. And the thing is, I remember when I was a kid, like people are worried about like kids being shamed about being the V word. And I remember being a kid, and I think I was. What year did it come out? Was I 13? I don't remember. 12 or 13.
Yeah.
I was like age appropriate to see the movie. My sister was 3 years younger than me. She was either like 9 or 10. So sitting there, we both laughed our asses off every time they were just like, a V word lit the candle.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't think it was right to make fun of somebody for that reason. I only got the impression that every time it came up, it was because it got to him. And because he wasn't necessarily like a stand-up guy the entire time. I didn't mind people busting his nuts every now and then, you know?
Right.
And like so I don't know. I thought it was funny. Especially at the end. At the very end, I was like, they said it again.
Yeah. Yeah, the end is a good laugh.
Yes.
I remember I was technically like a child, so like I couldn't relate. Like I knew what they were talking about, but I didn't. But what always got me, and still kind of gets me now, is when they're talking to what they think is the cop,
Oh yeah.
and he's like, "You're a virgin." He's like, "Yeah," and it's this idea that like adults would judge him or laugh at him for it. It just gave me this scary idea that like, wait, adults are gonna judge me for this shit? Because like even now, it's like I would never like I wouldn't expect a freshman in high school to not be a
No,
virgin.
no.
So it's so fucked up to me that like the shitty guy who's dressed as a cop like gives him shit for it. I just remember
See,
it's weird.
I just remember
It works
focusing
for a
on.
comical thing, but like it's a weird sort of kid adult thing that like in reality isn't really that way. And if someone were to be that way, like they're just an asshole.
See, the thing that always kind of like carried me through that moment was like when he first leans in and asks him, the answer is just kind of like, yeah, you know, like no shame, no nothing.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the facts. And then when he pushes it, he's like, really? It's like, look, I'll
Yeah,
get it tattooed on my foot.
like fucking yes, I'm only a freshman. Like, what do you want, man?
Yeah, right.
It's not like I'm
But
a
I don't
freshman in
know.
college and you can judge me for it. Like,
I
I'm
always
a
just loved
kid.
his earnestness in the crisis. Like there are more
Yes.
important things than my virginity. But then when it gets pressed, he takes the bait and there's the joke. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I won't I can't defend it. Like if somebody has a problem with it, fine. But it doesn't bother it doesn't to this
Yeah.
day it doesn't bother me. It really
It's
I'm not gonna do it. I'm watching a movie. I'm watching
right.
a movie where an
No.
actor is telling it to another actor, and he's playing a virgin, and maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. I don't know, but I don't know. Yeah. So,
Yeah, but
but
I'm not
it's
a
a good
parent.
movie.
I'm not a parent now, so I don't know what it feels like to have kids. But I was a kid in a theater when I saw that. I was
Yeah.
fine. My
So
parents
was
didn't seem to
I.
be upset by it. My mom took me to see it. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, and it's a cartoony gas, man. Like those three ladies are having a ball, hamming it up.
Really quick. I watched it somewhat recently, like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, stoned. And
Oh,
yeah. And I was with a group of friends, we were just like doing edibles and just kind of like, oh, let's watch Hocus Pocus. So we watched it. And I got to tell you, I'm never going to do it again. Because the saving grace for me was the witches because I realized when I watch things, it doesn't matter that it's a comedy if I'm not watching people have fun, like literally on screen, that's all they're doing is having fun, then I get really kind of bummed out. Like everything with the kids totally bummed me out. I'm like, oh my God, they're trying so hard and now I'm liking against them. It just harshes me like so bad. Not even my buzz, but just me. But then every time the witches were there, I was just like, they're having a good time though. Look, they love each other. They're like the Three Stooges. They're gonna be together forever. It was like so I realized, okay, as long as I'm watching like people, even if they're playing bad guys, as long as they're having a great time doing it, then I can watch it stoned. But I can't watch it becomes so dire if people are like fighting to achieve something and the whole movie is just about them not achieving it, really gets to me. So I just wanted to throw that tidbit in there. Don't watch it stoned, folks, if you're anything like me.
I won't.
All right.
What's your sixth film on your not list?
My non-ranked sixth one is I'm gonna stick with because I don't know if we're gonna have any crossover with some things that we might. So I'm gonna stick with some non-holiday specific ones, but it's one that I watch every fucking Halloween, and it's we've already discussed it on the pod also, and you're gonna hate me for it, but it's Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3: Dream Warriors. Watch it every fucking October because when I was a kid, it got to me, it scared me, and because it again satisfies that. Remember when you were a kid and things were fun?
I would give anything to
and,
feel that way again, Eddie.
and spoiler, because it is, if you haven't seen our breakdown of the franchise, because it is my favorite of the franchise, um, it's just the one. It gives me that 80s feel, like movies used to look like this. And even though it doesn't scare me, it gives me that good, like, ooh, spooky kind of feel. It's got the elements of like a haunted house because literally they keep ending up in this fucking house. And also the fact that like they get to be in their dreams and wear costumes. Like I feel like
There
that's
you
largely
go.
Halloweeny for me. So yeah. So
I'll
I'm just
allow
kind of
it.
like, yeah. So that's great. So watch, if we do a Christmas list, it's gonna be on my Christmas list too, because Freddie's wearing a Christmas sweater.
I'm already calling it now. It can't be because you actually have to help follow the assignment when we do a Christmas list.
I'll be like, there's Catholicism all over that movie, dude. Like, come on, what movie were you watching? But no, so anyway, that's my number, whatever the fuck it is Dream
6.
Warriors. Yeah.
Uh, oh. Number 5 for me.
Yeah.
It's an absolute must. Night of the Demons.
Yes. Okay, that'll be my number 5 too.
Nice. We did a whole huge
Yes,
podcast on this. But
Yes.
for anyone out there who's watching who either doesn't remember or doesn't know, the recommendation for this is 80s.
Mhm.
So 80s, so deliciously, like I could point to this on what's a good, just like stereotypical 80s horror movie. I go, this one.
Yeah.
This ragtag group of kids, they're not part, somehow they're all friends, but like they're not the same like clique. They're just a hodgepodge of like different types. So
Yeah.
you've got a wide group of kids, but it takes place on Halloween.
Mhm.
Break into an old morgue to have a Halloween party, to drink and dance and hang out, and all sorts of bad shit happens. It's so
Mhm.
80s Halloweeny horror, fun.
Yeah, and I just actually watched it for another pod I do with Zach Cherry. If anybody wants to follow his Patreon and hear me talk more, but but one of the things that came out, because we had already covered it with our pod, so I didn't even take notes. I was just kind of like, and there was somebody else there too. There were 3 of us, so I'm like, I'll just speak up when I feel like it. One of the things that came out for me that kind of captures the essence of the movie for me is it's the Halloween, of course, is clear, but it's camp at its finest. Besides that, like just like all of Linnea Quigley's lines, the fact that I am Angela, everything she does as a host, I'm like, I'm on your team. I totally get it. Like from the condescending talk she has with Judy about leaving the lighter on the table to when the party's starting to wind down and she's not done getting her groove on, she just plays some music and dances in the strobe light. Absolutely, that's me. And and because it is, again, like there's the 80s nostalgia for sure because I grew up in the 80s, but it's just I don't know, it's just mean spirited enough. Like it's fun, but it's just mean spirited enough. Like it ends on an upswing, but not because something good happens, because something bad happens to someone you want it to happen to.
It's a real fucked up ending. I love it.
Yeah.
It's a good fucked up ending.
Yeah. So and it really just kind of gets into the trick of the trick or treat. So yeah,
yes,
for that reason it made my list too, because there are still people who don't know about this movie. So I want everybody to know about it and everybody to watch it.
Nice.
Yeah. What's next?
I have a feeling this will be on your list too. I hope.
What?
Coming at number 4 for me, Halloween 3: Season of the Witch.
No Halloweens.
No, you said no Michael Myers Halloween. I thought you were trying to specify. I thought you were hinting.
He's in it.
No, doesn't count.
Oh, because of the rules. Just because he's in a commercial, he's not in it.
No, he's not in it.
He has screen time. That counts.
But not within the narrative.
And in my head, when Chalice is strapped to that chair watching like the movie and the music is playing, he should wander in. He should just kind of like wander in, like, how did I get here?
Too bad.
Just kill Chalice.
It's too bad he doesn't, Eddie.
I know, but I do watch it every year, but it didn't make the list because it's a Halloween movie, and I didn't put any in Halloween.
See, Eddie, I put it on the list because We're here to talk about Halloween movies. And how can
Such a
I?
dick. You're such a dick.
But when it comes to the idea of having a list of movies that are Halloween,
Uh-huh.
I mean, in theory, I could have just put all the fucking Halloween movies on here. That's a fucking cop out. But 3 is such a unique ride, especially if you don't want to have to like marathon the whole series and say, well, which Mike Myers story is the best. It is its own isolated tale. It's its own isolated Halloween tale. I don't need to recap all the reasons why it's on this list. It's obviously set at Halloween, so duh. But I just enjoy the fuck out of a movie where the villain's main goal isn't really that complicated by anything. It's just, I want to kill kids. And not only do I want to kill kids, I want to scrape off these little bits of Stonehenge and put them in masks that turn kids' heads into bugs and snakes. Because that makes sense. Oh, and plus robots. Like, come on. And Tom Atkins is in it.
Yeah.
And like what happens in a few John Carpenter movies of his, he fucks.
Yeah. A random girl who's probably a robot.
Who probably is a robot, which also explains why she fucks. But
totally.
But he fucks someone who you think this wouldn't be happening, and yet it's happening.
She initiates it.
I mean, we can discuss in a whole other video why this movie's so good, but
oh yeah, totally.
But I mean, just for the iconography of the 3 masks and the fucking Silver Shamrock song, like this is a hoot of a movie to watch at Halloween, and I watch it every year. It's a must.
Okay.
Hence why it's on this list, this Halloween list.
And just to throw, I don't know, a wrench in your spokes, I'm going to mention the final of my non-Halloween movie, and it's The Exorcist, because I do watch it every fucking year, and because when I was a kid, again, kind of like with the DTV thing, I hadn't seen the movie because I would not have watched the movie. I saw this thing called Hollywood Ghost Stories, and it had shit, what is his name? I didn't prepare for this. I didn't get the notes, but it had the guy with the long face. What's his name? John Carradine? Which Carradine?
David Carradine?
David Carradine. Is it David Carradine?
He has a long face?
Yeah.
From Legend? I mean, from Kung Fu and Kill Bill and...
No. Older, old school Carradine. I think it is John Carradine.
Probably.
Old, like played like son of Dracula and shit.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I think it's John Carradine. So, but he hosted it in the 80s, and he was already very, very long in the tooth, and he's sitting there literally like shrouded in cobwebs in kind of like a monstery chair. And he's in there talking about horror movies and showing you clips from them. And one of the clips, it's not unlike Terror in the Aisles, which more people are probably familiar with because of the Scream Factory release, because it's on the Halloween 2 30th anniversary Blu-ray, the first one that got released. Anyway. But he's just in there going, and this is a scary thing, and you watch the movie and chills run down your spine. Like that was the whole thing. And he got to The Exorcist, and I remember just seeing like the image of her, like, you know, hopping up and down on the bed, not hopping, but, you know, levitating and being thrust back down, the bubble in the neck, and the, what's that? Holy water, keep it away, and all that stuff. Oh, it burns! Oh, it burns! But the thing is, like, oddly enough, like, I'm not particularly scared of the movie. I'm not, possession isn't a big thing for me. But, because Catholicism is, it runs deep, but I don't carry it into this movie with me. I'm just kind of like, well, we got to do what we got to do. I don't know. He seems to know what he's doing. Yeah, let The Exorcist have it. He seems confident. Why not? Nothing else has worked. But it just because of like the atmosphere, like it's got with especially, oh my god, the fucking sound design. It feels like a haunted house. It feels like I'm tiptoeing through the movie. And it's rare that there's a movie that like kind of uniformly establishes and maintains that kind of tension for me. And I feel it, even though I'm not necessarily scared of it. Like if I turn out all the lights, I usually watch it when I'm in the house alone with all the windows open, all the lights off. That does kind of get a little scary because inevitably you hear a noise and you're like, what the fuck? The menu is the scariest thing. But yeah, I'm all about it. So
I mean, and also
yeah.
that soundtrack is a Halloween staple.
Totally. Oh my God. I mean, and not just like the music, but literally like the sound design, like just
Oh
hearing
yeah.
creaks and wheezing and little taps and ticks and whatever the fuck. And it
You
has
know
one of
what?
the, yeah.
The sound design is so good that when they walk in for like the final exorcism and you get the sense of like the cold and like I can almost
Yes.
feel like my brain thinks it's cold
Yeah,
because the
totally.
movie sells me on how cold. That's a great word.
Yeah, and also, I mean, and this is a reach, but it's true. I'm not trying to qualify it, but just seeing all of that breath, when you can see your breath, it does remind me like that was the first time of the year where you could go outside at night and see your breath, or sometimes during the day. But I mean, we used to be able to see our breath in Los Angeles around this time of year,
Mhm.
and I don't know, it's just kind of like, yeah, it echoes that. Everything, it's very, very harsh, severe, like a lot of layers. Nobody's wearing pretty summery, fine clothes. Everybody's like, covered up. But and the other thing, one other thing I will say, I just said I'm not scared of it, but there is the single most frightening image that I take away from it is, of course, the Pazuzu face. I that always I see it and I'm like, "Ah!" Even if it's a flash, even if I'm just like scrolling through shit, I can see Reagan's
Yep.
Exorcist face at any
Anytime.
time, day or night, and I'll be cool. I'll just be like, look at Linda Blair, she's so cute. I see Pazuzu, and I don't see an actress with white face and like red circles and like fake teeth in her. I see the creeping unknown. It's the hellish spawn. It's the Antichrist, and I become irrational. So I like that.
And I'm right there with you.
Yeah. So there you go.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
That's my number, whatever the fuck it is.
Uh, I'm okay. We're on to number 3, and as far as my ranking, it's number 3. But it's
Yeah.
my 1 and 2 are so basic. But I'm still gonna. You'd think I would end with this one, but I'm still sticking to my order. My number 3, Ernest Scared Stupid. What's that face
Okay.
for? What's that face
Just
for?
no, it's not. Go.
Have you seen Ernest Scared Stupid?
No.
Then don't make that face. We should fucking watch Ernest Scared Stupid. Oh my God.
I agree. You and the audience should watch Ernest Scared Stupid.
No,
No,
you're
I
coming
love
over.
Jim Varney. I would watch
Oh my
it. I would
God.
totally watch it.
No, first, because, okay, so I was already on board with the Ernest movies. I saw Ernest Goes to Camp and Ernest Saves Christmas in theaters.
Uh-huh.
I rented Goes to Jail just because there's something about it. It was fine.
Yeah.
Ernest Scared Stupid, though. It's like, hey, do you like spooky things? Why, yes, I do. Do you like Ernest? Why, yes, I do. Well, let's put the two of them together. Like, if someone said, hey, do you like pizza? Yeah. Do you like beer? Well, let's have both. You're like, it's just, it was, as a kid, I'm like, what's happening here? This is great. Obviously, it's actually probably it's my favorite Ernest movie.
Mm.
Not just because of the spooky shit. It's also just one of the better vehicles of him doing his shtick.
Yeah.
And they, especially if you watched Hey Vern, it's Ernest, where like he would switch into all these different
Yeah, I
characters.
watched it all the time as a kid,
Okay.
Saturday mornings.
Ernest Goes to
Yes.
Camp. Ernest Goes to Camp. He's Ernest P. Worrell the whole movie. Whereas Hey Vern, it's Ernest. He's constantly switching between like his little drill sergeant guy and the woman with the glasses.
The woman with the neck brace. Yeah.
He does that in this movie, and it makes no
Yay.
sense because he'll be in a scene with people, and they will keep looking at him as he's completely switching personalities and outfits and stuff, and we just go with it. It's absurd, and that absurdity makes it fun. But also, it is a story set at Halloween featuring a troll and eventually trolls that are made by the Kyoto brothers. And they look so Kyoto brothery.
Oh, good.
It's so good. Yeah, two of them are based. They use the same designs as Killer Clowns and then just redid them.
You mentioned it in our Killer Clowns
Yeah.
discussion. I remember. Yeah.
Uh, it's also got Eartha Kitt
Hey.
as like the local spooky old lady. Um, but I love any movie. Space Invaders is another one of these, but like any movie where it's a small town, because they all take place in small town USA.
Yeah.
And there's usually some kid whose parent is like the sheriff or something. And the kids are saying this is happening, and the adults are like, derp, 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 and like, well, Ernest believes us, and like we have to go save the day. But also, I don't want to say this movie is legitimately scary because it's not. But it's kind of like Sleepy Hollow. It was at its time, at my age,
Oh.
just enough. Like what the troll does is he can lure you, and he can throw his voice. So you'll be like in your bed, and you'll hear your mother's voice, and you turn and look, and it's just a troll. But when he takes you, he turns you into a wooden figure. And I hate the idea of like people losing their soul and becoming an inanimate thing.
Yeah.
And they did a good job designing a troll that's not too scary, but just scary enough that if you put it in the movie, you believe the kids would be afraid of it. You can't make it too friendly looking, and you can't make it too terrifying.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of creepy enough, but also you can have fun with it. And there's a lot of shtick, with Ernest, and at one point, like he's running and he doesn't see it. He opens his car door, like hits the troll and falls over. So they kind of take the piss out of how scary it can be. But I remember as a kid still being terrified when it would turn a child into a wooden figure. When a child would be in bed and she thinks she's safe and she hears like her sister's voice or something, and it's just a fucking troll. And at one point, if I remember correctly, it has to collect 5 children to then like ascend. It's layers underneath this tree, and if it collects, it can grow pods and grow more trolls. But he turns into, spoiler alert, but he turns into like Uber Troll, and he has like a little speech. He's like, "No, let all the evil from hell make me strong," and his claws grow, and he grows things. But I remember specifically as a kid, I'd never seen a children's film that used the word hell. And I remember being like, he said hell. Like, I thought I was safe. I'm watching this movie and it's an Ernest movie, but he's using the powers of hell. That's serious stuff. That's scary. This isn't just some made up troll shit. He's got like hell energy in him. This movie's not fucking around.
Right. I had a similar reaction when Maleficent said it in the end of Sleeping Beauty. I'd just be like, oh, she's not fucking around. Oh,
right?
Yeah. I don't want to cross that.
These children's films, man. Yeah. We should totally watch it because it's a gas. The finale of, saving the day. It's so much fun.
Nice.
It's this and Space Invaders are a good double feature because they're both like small town USA, dad who won't listen, kids who need to save the day, and also like they both feature like adults in like a Halloween party and like fuck off kids, it's a fucking hell, Oh my god, Ernest Scared Stupid, great time.
That's fun.
Halloween classic for me.
Okay. Yeah. It's not on my list. The next one on my list is my number is actually interestingly enough, I was not a kid when I saw it, but it makes me feel like a kid every time I watch it. Paranorman. Just nothing but love.
Yep.
From beginning to end. I cry. I fucking laugh. I like that there's a gay guy in it who we don't know is gay until the end, and it's just it's not really a joke, but it is definitely a punchline.
Yes.
And it's
to her.
Yeah, it's like a punchline in the sense that like it feels like an inclusive punchline. I remember being like, "What?" And literally in the theater, I think I screamed "What?" with a big smile on my face. And I was like, "Oh my god, more from Leica." But and also just like the fact that like I don't know, that there's something in it to speak to kids, but that I get about just because bad things happen to you doesn't mean that you have the right to make other people suffer, even if they deserve it. Like, who determines who deserves what? Like, there has to be some point where we can actually just kind of like come together and actually talk to each other. And the fact that it comes from someone who is so incredibly ostracized and bullied throughout the movie, just my heart just it's and then the fact that it opens with like a stop motion esque. I mean, I guess it's technically stop motion animation, but like a stop motion recreation of a typical, say, B horror film,
Yes.
and that he's a fan and that we get to like follow him to school, and it's on Halloween, but it's also just kind of got that general milieu to it. I can't say enough. It's got my heart. I watch it every fucking year. Ever since the first year I saw it, I was like, I need that movie in my life. So
I
that's
watched it
my
last year on Halloween.
yeah.
Uh,
I haven't
it's
watched it yet. I like to get close. I like to get close and
Oh, I
watch
understand.
it.
What I
Yeah.
liked about, I mean, you kind of mentioned this, like the fact that you cry about it, because I went into the theater expecting a fun
Yeah,
zombies, kids, stop motion zombies.
totally.
And the movie in the first act and even second doesn't fully prepare you for where the third act's going to go.
Oh my God.
And it really does pack quite an emotional wallop.
Yes.
And hearing the desperation in his voice and him trying to get through to her, and
Yeah.
all the pain that she has, like these children voice actors are so fucking good.
Oh God.
That
Also,
that whole climax could just be like a masterclass. Like,
Christ. I mean, they're really good at finding kid actors
yeah.
at Leica, but I also have to say I admire it for being as earnest as it is without being saccharine. That is something that
Yes.
is so hard to achieve in family-friendly programming, and they totally achieved it. I could just talk about it all day and all night. I love it that much.
And emotionally, I also feel when the zombie people finally like
Oh,
all the feelings, which I don't start that movie expecting to feel feelings.
mm-hmm. And
It's John Goodman ghost in a toilet, and
yeah,
it's fun.
And the fact that his grandma is voiced by Elaine Stritch. The second I heard her
She's
voice, I
so
was like,
good.
that's Elaine Stritch. I was like, and it happened so early in the movie. I was just like, oh. Well, my head was exploding from beginning to end. I was so grateful that it was everything that it was, and I always am grateful every time I return to it. So,
Very nice. I approve.
Thank you. Thanks. It means so much to me. Next.
It's my friend Eddie, everybody. I choose to be his friend. Number 2. So basic, but I don't care. That's what this list is for. Halloween, 1978. Wow. How do you not every year watch fucking Halloween?
Agreed.
Not only is it a great movie, not only is it one of the best horror movies ever, I mean, it's a horror movie that, even though it's set at obviously it was a bigger hit than Night of the Demons, but Night of the Demons isn't synonymous with the holiday the way Michael Myers is synonymous with the holiday.
Yes.
That font is synonymous, that soundtrack is on everyone's Halloween playlist. There's nothing really to say. It's just Halloween. And watch it.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah. And that's the only reason it's not on my list, is just because you're already watching it. So so I don't need to recommend it. Like, I'm just like, yeah, but it every year, yes. I've already watched it. I've already seen it.
Me too.
Yeah.
At the time of this recording, it's the weekend that Halloween Kills came out. So I watched Halloween 78, then I watched Halloween 2018. I watched Halloween Kills.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I mean, I would easily do another 10 list, because I could definitely do more. I'm not saying they'd be on it, but I mean, both of those, the 2018 and Halloween Kills, are also both set on Halloween. So you could keep going. You could. I could.
Great.
Fuck you. This shit's fun for me. Fuck you if you're not enjoying it. I'll do my own list by myself. I won't have a special guest.
And this shit's fun for me. Love you.
Normally, I'm the one annoying you in the videos. Normally.
Yeah, but normally you don't like infringe these rules on me. Just kidding.
And Eddie can't be bound by rules. He has to break free.
No, not at all. No, well, I mean, I tried, but I got, like I said, I started to get frustrated. I was like, I don't want to start Googling what movies took place on Halloween. It's like, no, that's not organic.
You don't need to Google it. It's in your fucking brain.
Yeah, exactly. If I have to Google it, then it's just like, it's not in my brain. So I was just kind of like, well, what's my brain?
Pile of shit, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, really? You know what? After everything you said about Paranorman, how dare you? How dare you, sir? My next one, I guess it could go either way, but it's in terms of like, you and your rules, but I think you'll understand, maybe. I don't know. I don't care. My next one is Coraline. Yeah, because it has kind of like all of the how else can I put it? Social cues of a Halloween movie. I mean, there's a full-on jack-o'-lantern that appears at one point and everything like that. Even by day, everything is just kind of like murky and muggy. Wyborn has those cool skeletal gloves and everything like that. It's got enough of an air of mystery that's always kind of keeping you guessing, especially the thing is that still works. Even after I've seen it as many times as I've seen it, I can go back into the movie and still get like uneasy at moments because like Coraline doesn't know. And the scenarios are unsettling, like kind of going to bed with one family in one house and waking up in another house and kind of expecting it to be that way, and then by the time you're used to it, you go to sleep with one family and expect to wake up with your real family, with another family, but you haven't left, you haven't broken out of it. So it's like, well, how the fuck do I get out? It's just got anxiety all over it too. And also just, I don't know, something about the world that the other mom creates, in terms of it being kind of like just like a what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, just kind of like a trip the light fantastic, like tickle your fancy. It's all froth and it's all joy and it's all jubilant. You can't
trust it.
Exactly. But there's something about the appetite that she's appealing to that is very Halloween to me, because it makes me think about when I used to trick or treat. And the fact that I'm going to strangers' homes asking for candy, doing the one thing, it's like the night you break the rules, where you're doing the one thing adults tell you all year round, don't take candy from strangers. And now they dress you up, they march you to doors. They're teaching you how to trust strangers. There are kids who were scared. When we used to have trick-or-treaters, there were like tiny little children who don't understand what's going on, who are scared of me. And then they see me, because they won't reach for the candy, I drop it into their bag and their parent is telling them to say thank you. And they're just like, and I'm just like, I get it, kid. You're not supposed to want to take the candy from me, but you're going to be conditioned at some point. I mean, if Halloween still was the way it used to be, you'd be conditioned at some point to look forward to it and to kind of like be like, for one night of the year where we can get all this free candy and it's yours. Like, it's ownership. It's one of the first forms of ownership where your parents aren't buying shit for you, but you get something and it's yours. And if you lose it or if somebody took it from you, like, I get so pissed off every year at Jimmy Kimmel with his fucking tricks that the parents play when they tell the kids that they ate all their Halloween candy the morning after Halloween. I hate it, because I'm like, no, that is like the only thing that is yours. And yeah, I get it. It's a prank, whatever.
That's what makes it funny.
I don't think it's funny. Yeah. I don't like it. It upsets me, especially like when I'll never forget this one little boy. Sorry, I'm totally off track, but I have to say it. There's this one little boy who lives in my brain rent free. I just remember him bursting into tears quietly when the parents told him, like, we ate all your Halloween candy and there's no more left for you. And he just started to cry quietly, and he pulled his lips in, and he just kept crying and wiping his eyes, and they're like, so we ate it, it's all gone, how do you feel about that? And I'm like, fuck you, you fucking sadist. And he's sitting there going, that's okay. It's all right. And finally, they're just like, oh God, we can't do this anymore. So they're just like, here, we have your candy. We were just, it was just a trick. And he just said, that's not very kind. Just kept crying. And I was like, yeah, kid, like mine. Anyway,
I think
so
I'm just gonna.
Coraline.
Can I just throw in
Yeah,
one little thing? I agree. When you think about it,
go
it's
ahead.
a very mean thing for parents to do. I won't deny
Mhm.
that. But also, as I've gotten older, I've uh, I still wrestle with this idea. I don't. Adults lie to their children all the fucking time.
Mhm.
They tell them if there's a Santa Claus coming. They tell them that there's somebody that comes and takes your teeth and leaves you Easter bunny, and I've become this guy that like will recurringly turn to his friends who are parents and go like, so you're cool just like lying to your kids? Like is it fun for you? Like what's like because I don't appreciate all the lies I was told when I was a child. I don't. And every adult has the same answer, which is, oh, but it's for fun. It's when they're kids. It's fun. I'm like, I don't know why more people don't resent it when they get older. So to me, like, it's just one more lie to your kids
No,
because
no,
you're lying to them all the time anyway.
no, because I feel like
It's a
I don't.
meaner lie.
Yeah, totally.
It's still deception though.
No, but I feel like I don't
There's no
agree with
fucking
the whole.
tooth fairy.
No, I feel like I don't agree with the tooth fairy thing or the Santa thing or whatever. But at the
There's
same time, kind of like the way I'd like when they're older, I'd let my kid kind of choose whatever religion they want. Like if as a kid they want to believe in Santa, like if they come out the gate believing in Santa, well then okay, I better kind of create Santa. I'm not going to tell them, oh, there is no Santa Claus. But what? I don't want to do that. Like they're gonna find out. They're gonna find out so
right.
fast. I
I
knew like my
see.
whole life there was no Santa.
It's
But
sweet that you would allow the child and then you would continue it. But just this
sure.
idea that there's a whole culture of adult that we all just do it. Like you don't have a choice. We're all just lying to you generation to generation to generation. And it's all considered fun because most of the time you don't have a choice. It's because everyone's telling you, you know,
Oh, I wouldn't do that. I feel like I'd have a conversation with my kid and kind of
and
see what side of the fence they land on. And if
mm,
they kind of seem like they want to believe in it, maybe I'll let them. And then when they stop, I'll stop.
and it's a fucking ruse. You're tricking me into being good. Fuck you.
I don't know. I kind of understand like that.
Yeah, all I'm saying is this because I don't have kids. I don't plan on having kids. I
No.
honestly, I don't know how I could ever like look at my child in the face and like tell them to put their tooth under the pillow because the tooth, like, I don't want to look at you in the eyes and lie to you. I just don't get it.
It'd be the same thing as if they were like believing in a religion that I didn't believe in. I'd just be kind of like, okay, cool. That's your bag, buddy. Sure. Okay, that's cool. That's what you believe. Awesome. The only thing is, like,
But
as a parent, you got to kind of facilitate it when they're really, really
but you're
young, whatever
not
they
buying.
believe in.
You are not buying into their religion, but you are uh, furthering the fantasy of like, you know,
But
no,
I would
those no,
stop.
those gifts under the tree that are in my handwriting aren't from me. They're from a magic man.
No, but I would stop as soon as they stop needing it. And the thing is, like, I think most kids stop needing it really, really early. I think
Yeah,
parents need it more
it's
than the
it's
children do.
dangerous.
And that's selfish. And I don't like that. I don't approve of that. But the thing is also, like, I don't feel like parents do that. I like all of the reasons parents would like kind of like encourage kids to believe in Santa. I feel like I'm like, okay, fine, cool, whatever, do you. But the thing about like stealing something from them just to get a rise out of it, just to make them sad and film it and send it to some fucking talk show host, fuck you. You're not funny enough. So you're trying to like make the material out of like America. And for some reason America's falling for it. So we got to do a whole tangent. Coraline.
Yeah, so Coraline.
But I mean, it definitely appeals to all the Halloween clicks in my brain. It satisfies it. It's autumnal. It is
Hmm.
scary. There is a big bad she has to fight, and down to the black cat. I'm all about it.
And just
I
the leaves
yeah.
from the woods outside the house, like
Yeah. And just the indulging of the appetites. I think that's where I got off with the trick-or-treating ate your candy thing. It's just like the fact that like she's providing all these treats and she's like, here, gorge yourself. There's something very Halloween about that for me.
okay,
So eat everything, eat it all. And I was like, yeah, it's Halloween. You
yeah.
know, the
No,
spirit.
the spirit is totally there.
Yeah. So there you go.
My number one, my number and in life, my number one
Yeah.
Halloween movie, absolutely stars Sam back here, and that's Trick or Treat. It is the most Halloween movie. It's probably, let's be honest, the best Halloween movie. Like
Yeah.
and it's also one of those things that I can't believe it took so long in the decades of movie making for someone to
Hmm.
do this.
Yeah.
We did a whole discussion on this.
Yeah,
So,
we did.
but it is maybe, I mean, maybe it's not for certain children, but even to a certain degree, there's a certain age of kid that can handle it. Maybe not small children, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a celebration of the holiday. It hits the horror movie note. It hits the
Hmm.
cutes note because Sam is fucking adorable. He's one of the cutest fucking things ever created,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I mean, when it came out, it unceremoniously did not get a theatrical release,
Hmm.
and it got dumped to DVD. And there was this period where it was a movie that I have to tell people about. I think enough
Hmm.
time has passed where I don't even have to, in this discussion right now, recommend it to the viewers. Like
No.
when you go to the Spirit Halloween store, it's a huge trick or treat section. I say that, and I still have two friends that this year hadn't seen it that I've introduced it to. So there's still more people to introduce it to. And what a delightful movie to be with someone there first time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. I got to show it to my mother for the first time this year, and she had a lot of fun with it. That said, it is not on my list for the only reason that I feel like the internet has been incredibly kind to Trick or Treat, and thank God, because I feel like I see Sam as much as I see Michael Myers in my Instagram feed these days.
Good.
And yeah, absolutely, I'm all about it. I feel like he deserves to be a symbol for the holiday as much as Michael Myers does, at least. And but yeah, just because it is so omnipresent, because it's going to be at the top of so many people's list, I was like, well, I mean, you're probably already seeing it, and if you're not, then what are you doing? And I knew you were probably going to bring it up, so it's like,
Yeah.
well, he'll say it, and I knew, so I'd still get to talk about it, but I wanted space for, and I'm glad now that I had space for like one more movie on my list to discuss that probably would have been at the top of my list if I were ranking these, and that's Batman Forever. I'm just kidding.
Good.
I just wanted to see
I
your
was
face go vacant.
I didn't even explode. I just was like, oh,
You're just like,
I was
exactly.
trying to figure out what the fuck is my next sentence going to be.
Uh, see, it's funny when I do this. If I told you I stole your candy, then that would be mean, but this is fun. Um, but no, I just thought because like, oh, I should say it because they go tweet or tweet for like 5 seconds in the movie. It's Halloween and a scene in that movie. But mine, I mean, arguably my pick is more Halloween than that, but not much as far as screen time, I guess, in a sense. But my last one I'll mention is Creepshow, OG Creepshow. Um, Granted, it's kind of Halloweenness, like the only indicator that it's Halloween time or possibly Halloween night, we don't know, is a jack-o'-lantern, like in the very, very beginning of the movie.
So it counts.
It counts. But the thing that makes it count isn't that. The thing that makes it count for me is the fact that, like, again, we're going back to nostalgia and something that was incredibly effective for me as a kid. I watched it all the time before memory. I don't remember the first screening. It was on a VHS tape my dad taped. in the segment called Something to Tide You Over, I used to call Ted Danson, and I can't remember the actress's name right now, but his lover, I used to call them the fish people. And my mom would ask me, like, so what are you watching? I'd be like, I'm watching the fish people. And I, I don't know, there's just something about just like the general production design that feels very Halloween to me, because it's like, ooh, spooky, because it's very much in that pulpy horror comic from the 1950s vein. I mean, of course, that's what they're paying homage to, but they did it so successfully that it is like time travel again. Like, it literally kind of transports me to when I was a kid, and it doesn't like scare me like I'm gonna have nightmares kind of thing to this day, but it does like unlock something in me, like when I was a kid, where you're not just remembering that you were scared, like some part of you is just kind of like going like, and you're just kind of like, yeah, that was really scary to me as a kid. And but it's aged incredibly well for me, because I still love riding the wave with this movie, and I do watch it every Halloween. Sometimes I don't even wait for Halloween to watch it, but yeah, it doesn't feel like Halloween if I don't watch it. It's what it is, my childhood,
Oh,
and I love bringing it back. I love reliving it every time I watch it. It's just that it's that movie for me. It cracks my top 5 all-time horror movies. I don't know where it ranks there, but it's in the top 5. It's
wow.
in it belongs. It's coursing through my veins. That is how much a part of me Creepshow is. Yeah. So there you go.
I've found in my lifetime that the people who love Creepshow, or the people who like Creepshow, love fucking Creepshow. Like
Yeah.
it's something that I've always wished I could join you all in. I don't dislike
Yeah.
it. I like
Right.
it.
No. Yeah.
But yeah, like your top 5, like I don't have that.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is um I didn't see it until like my mid-20s.
Yeah.
And I know everyone like they saw it like as a child, and it's been with them through so long. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I was younger
it's
than
good.
Stephen
It's
King's son is in the movie. I was younger than him. He looked like an older kid to me when I when I saw it. I must have been like 3 or 4 the first time I saw it. And I remember I thought, devil child. That's not how a little boy's supposed to act. And it scared the shit out of me. It shook me. And I still watch it and I'm like, that kid's something not right. That kid's sick. That's a bad boy. That is a bad boy. Ugh.
I still appreciate it as a production though. Whenever I watch it, I'm very
Yeah.
uh we just recently when I watched Creepshow 1 and 2, and it was my first time seeing 2.
Yeah.
And I actually
Yeah.
like 2 a lot more than I was expecting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah,
I love two too, but it doesn't qualify for a Halloween movie, so I'm not gonna.
you can't be shitty when it's literally a Halloween list and like it doesn't qualify. Like
I tried. I was just
I
like, well,
gave
I
you
could just.
qualify. Wait, I gave you qualifiers. You chose to ignore them, and then you go, "Oh, it doesn't qualify." Well, but that's your choice. So
No,
don't
but I
make.
mean, no, because I didn't want to just like I already explained it. I just didn't want to like do like the
Well,
basic ones and be like, and they're on my list because they belong there. Yeah, of course they do, but come on, let's talk about something else.
actually, what actually makes this list work retroactively? I'll say this at the end of the thing and not the beginning of the thing, because who knew? But we have a very Halloweeny rules list, and then
Yeah,
also a not so Halloweeny list, and there is now a comparison contrast in that. Um,
sure.
yeah, because yeah, I was trying to avoid like Beetlejuice. Like it
Oh
feels
no, no.
Halloweeny, but it's not a Halloween movie. But like
And I don't watch it every Halloween. I don't. Like these,
yeah.
at least these I
Actually,
do watch every Halloween.
my
Like,
thing with Beetlejuice is I like just watch it any other time of year. It just feels good.
mm, I
That's
don't
the
even
one.
need to.
That's the
That
one
one's
I
in my
don't
memory
watch alone.
too. I don't have to. It's in my memory. I like could
It's in
literally
my
just sit
no,
and
but
play
then
it in
every
my
once in
head.
a while, it's good to actually like
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
see
But I
the
don't
things and
own
hear
it.
the music and go up into the attic and be with Winona as she meets Adam, and like it. No, it's yeah, it feels so good to revisit.
Beetlejuice.
Again, I don't know if you are ever down, but I could keep going because there are so many others.
Movies?
Fuck yeah.
All right.
But if you don't want to, that's fine. But I could,
I'll just listen to you. And I'll chime in. I'll be like, oh yeah, totally. Oh, I better watch that.
We could do that. I could just do my next 10 and you can just be like Statler and Waldorf together, like as one.
Oh, yeah, totally. That's kind of more Santa. It's more Santa.
Yeah, I went with it though. Whatever.
I'd be down, sure. If people want to see that, why not?
And I don't know if you'd be down, but I'd be down to do this at Christmas time.
For horror movies or just for
Christmas movies?
Huh.
Yeah.
Let me think about it.
But you can't weasel your way out of it of like, well,
no, I mean, like,
here, we're watching European Vacation. It does take place at Christmas, but I watch it at Christmas.
It makes me think about Christmas.
No, a Christmas
enough,
movie, motherfucker. Like,
I'll have to see if it, because I mean, again, like, there are a lot of specials I watch too, so I'd have to be like, that's a special or a feature film. Like, I'd have to go, because I've never analyzed what I watch around the holidays like this before. I've always just kind of put in what felt right.
I'm a Virgo, and I do what Virgos do, or something. Whatever
no,
excuse.
It's very un-Virgo of me to not organize this aspect of my life.
Right.
I just kind of put in a movie, watch it, or put in a special, watch it, and not go, now how many is that?
Well, it's your escape from all the other Virgo organizational
Absolutely.
things.
Yeah, it's celebratory, and I like, I'm Virgo about like planning when I see it, but not what I see. I'll just be like,
I could also do a list of my favorite Halloween TV episodes / specials.
I could do that, yeah.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, maybe next year, who the fuck knows?
Okay.
Because we've already been doing this for over a year. We'll probably still be doing it,
Chances are, yeah.
So there's some things that we recommend you watch that we personally enjoy.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed listening to us ramble on and on about lying to your kids and also movies. So until next time, thank you for watching. Have a happy Halloween. Go watch some fun things. Thank you for joining me, Eddie.
Oh yeah, happy Halloween.